I don't have time to boil water and soak. I don't have that time. Or it's soaking. It's soaking. It's soaking. Like just leave it. It's soaking. Hi guys, my name is Tife, aka Cake Daddy, and today I'm going to be talking about things I wish I knew when I started baking. Secrets that I feel would have helped me tremendously, because every time I look back like 10 years ago, I just wish I knew some certain things. I just wish famous YouTubers that I watched told me some certain secrets, because even though I watch countless YouTube videos, I never seem to get better. I never seem to be able to decorate a cake properly. I never seem to be able to execute a recipe properly. I would watch every single aspect of the recipe. I would follow every single thing to the letter. I would try my best to get whatever equipment I need, whatever ingredient I need. And yes, every time, it never just came out the way it should. So these are some things that many YouTubers don't tell you. Many people don't reveal. Alright guys, let's get to it. So the first thing I want you guys to note is never follow the recipe blindly, except it's my recipe sha. Except it's the recipe you find on my channel. But any other recipe on YouTube, try not to follow it completely exactly. There are some people that get it right. There are some people that have balance in their recipes, but sometimes there are quite a number of recipes on YouTube that you need to be very careful of. So my baking grew to another level when I started using my brain. When I started using my brain and my laser eye vision, to know and to see and to inspect how the recipe looked at particular stages. That's why on my channel, I always try to, on every recipe that I do, I always try to make you guys know and to see like what the mixture looks like at each particular stage, because it will help you make sure and alter your recipes accordingly to ensure that the mixture looks that particular way. I don't know if I'm making sense. Because until it looks that particular way, it won't come out as beautiful as the way you see it on YouTube. Let's just be frank. Your baking will improve when you start using your brain, when you stop completely following the recipe, because recipes and ingredients differ from country to country. Okay? Another great thing I want you guys to note is your equipment does not define how well you bake. Truth be told, and the honest truth is, in baking, it's best to do the best with what you have. Because not everybody can afford fancy equipment. Not everybody can. When I started baking, like I was in secondary school, and back then, it wasn't something that my parents would willingly drop like 7K or 20K or 70K to buy a mixer or something I'm just building interest on. So there are sometimes that, or when you start, basically, you might not necessarily have that, passion per se, that you want to take this thing to another level. You want to make it commercial. It's just something that you like doing, and it's just something that you want to do, basically. So why spend a lot of money on fancy equipment? Like, just think about it. So not everybody has the resources. That's why on my channel, I try to make my recipes as simple as I can, using as little equipment as I can, because I know how it feels to not be able to afford. Not that I couldn't afford it, but like, okay, personally I couldn't afford it, but I know how it feels like to not be able to do certain things with certain equipments. When people feel like not having this particular equipment hinders their progress in baking, but not necessarily. I mean, look at this cake that I made in NYC camp. I had no mixer, I had no piping bag, I had no electricity. All I had was the old-fashioned bowl and wooden spoon. And if you look at it correctly, this is this is something amazing that I achieved with no equipment. So your baking is not defined by the fancy equipments that you have. It may help tremendously, but if you don't have it, just go with what you have. If you don't have certain ingredients to recipes, use what you have. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be fancy. It's just something you should like doing, and just going with the flow. Okay? A common notion I find in many YouTube videos that many YouTubers have is that the easiest and fastest way to wash off buttercream is by soaking it in hot water. Now, I don't know about you, but I tend to get impatient after a while, because I'll spend like probably 10 to 12, sometimes 16 hours a week baking and decorating a particular cake. And then you're telling me that I have to boil water, find a bowl, gather all my equipment together, put it in that bowl, and then soak it in hot water before I can finally wash it. I don't know if, except you have that time. I'm not disputing that the hot water technique, soaking your equipment in hot water, does not work. It's not the easiest way to wash up buttercream. So I'm going to tell you the easiest way to wash up buttercream. 1 second. Okay. So I'm back. So if you have these kitchen paper towels, using this to wash off, to just clean off, like take your equipment and just clean it off and then wash it. This is the easiest thing that you can. I don't have time to boil water and soak. I don't have that time, because if you're like me and you can tend to forget, or you can tend to just like say, okay, I'll just do it like tomorrow, or it's soaking, it's soaking, like just leave it, it's soaking we'll wash it tomorrow. Let's leave it overnight to soak. It's not just like we'll do it overnight. If you're like that and you're working a full-time job, your sink is always going to be a mess. It's always going to be a mess. So use this simple trick and technique. It might seem like really, but I want you to try it. I want you to try it and tell me how it goes. Does your cleanup time reduce significantly? Your cleanup time of buttercream stuff, does it reduce significantly? I want you to let me know. Most YouTubers will not tell you this. I do not know why, because it always bothered me, and especially with buttercream, it's always so slimy. I don't know, those things just irritate my body. Like, just be touching it, just touch slimy water, like, just imagine how I feel. So try this. It's going to save your time, it's going to save your life, it's going to help you be a better baker. Because the easier and the faster you can wash up stuff, the easier and the faster you can make more cakes. Okay? Now, I'm going to enter a very sensitive aspect in the baking industry. Getting smooth edges or getting smooth sides on your cake. If you remember this cake that I did in NYC camp, remember, I did not have kettle to boil water. There was no electricity. I did not have hand mixer. I did not have stand mixer. All I had were manual equipment, scraper, bowl, and a wooden spoon. Now, many YouTubers that I found when I started baking, they always had this notion that to get smooth sides with buttercream, you have to use boiled, very hot water. Then you have to dip your spatula every 30 seconds and smooth the sides of your cake. That's all well and good, and it works to a particular extent. I've tried it. But that did not ensure that I got smooth sides. What ensures that you get smooth sides is that you have silky smooth buttercream. Yeah. Because it all begins with your buttercream. If your buttercream is smooth, silky, and easy to work with, soft and easy to work with, you won't have a difficult problem or a difficult time getting smooth and sharp edges on your cakes. So if you haven't watched my buttercream recipe, that is a video you need to watch, because it does not depend on dipping your palette knife into hot water and smoothing it out. Now, going back to this, my NYC cake, I did not have kettle to boil water. So how did I get smooth sides and smooth edges? Think about it. Think about it. It starts with your buttercream. Even though I did not win that competition in NYC camp, and I have it on good authority that it was rigged, and I was sidelined because I did not do NYC logo. I have it on good authority. That's my mind, my chest. Because my cake, even with all the hindrances to making sure that it turns out right, it was still great. It still looked amazing, but yet I still didn't win. Back to topic. It does not have to be that difficult. Having smooth buttercream first and then just smoothing it out with a scraper is so easy, and it's not as time consuming as boiling water and then dipping it every 30 seconds. At the point, the palette knife will get cold, and then as you're moving around, you just start scraping off buttercream. That just takes so much time. And whenever I make cakes, I don't like to take, because I've spent hours working up to this stage. Even though it's like the main part, but I'm tired. Like, I'm the only one doing it, and I'm tired. So I just want to get it over with and get it done. I don't have time to be boiling water and dipping my palette knife into the boiling water and going around the cake. I want it quick, I want it fast, I want it simple. So if you've not watched my video on how to decorate a layer cake with buttercream, please watch my video. Watch that video. It's simple. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be completely perfect. I mean, except you're using an acrylic disc, or you're using a machine or a tool or whatsoever to make sure it goes around smoothly. If you're using it by hand, it's going to take a bit of time to make it completely perfect. And if you're doing a lot of cakes, it doesn't have to be completely perfect. It can have some tiny things, tiny like imperfections. It's okay. It's okay. Like, you don't have to stress yourself making sure it's completely perfect. I hope these secrets are super helpful to you. They have helped me save time. They have helped me save time tremendously. And I know if you tried out these secrets, they would help you a lot in saving time, in getting smoother cakes, in nailing recipes, at your first try, like it will help you tremendously. So if you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section below, and I want you to watch these two videos. Watch either the top or the bottom. I want you to watch them, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Unboxing misconceptions and myths in the baking industry.